Hi readers, it's Lori. Welcome back to my channel. Today is the recap of one of my 2023 reading goals, which was to have a little free library day in New Orleans. I have lived in this area near New Orleans for quite some time, and I honestly have never done a little free library tour in the city since I've lived here. Megan and I had agreed we were going to do this before she went back to school this summer, and that is today, as of the day I'm filming this. So we had to do it sooner rather than later, and we had to make sure it was a day that was fairly good weather. Could we beat the heat? No, we could not if we wanted to do it before she went back to school. It is insanely hot where we live, and I'm sure it's insanely hot where most of you live too. But we managed. We did a little bit of walking, but mostly driving back and forth in the air conditioning, and we took a break. And so you'll see all of how it unfolds now. And then at the end of my vlog, I will recap the books that I got and tell you what I think I remember Megan getting. Okay, I just left my house and I'm headed to New Orleans, which is a pretty significant drive, made more so by some road closures for repair. I have everything I need to have a great day. Here we go. Our first one. So you can see we had quite a fun time. I did include some footage of us driving around because I just think that the homes in New Orleans and some of the buildings in New Orleans are just incredible. And I just love to share that with people who haven't maybe ever been to New Orleans before, or maybe you have, but you know what it means to miss New Orleans, even though it's New Orleans. So let me show you what I got while I was out and about looking at little free libraries. You can see the first one I found, Becoming by Michelle Obama. I have listened to this on audio. I think I own it, or Megan does, on Audible. So I finished this several years ago when it first came out, but I've never purchased a copy, and I've always kind of wanted to. And I did acquire a Barack Obama memoir at my library book sale a couple of months ago. And so I am collecting some memoirs of kind of, people that are involved really in the presidency or in some way on the peripheral edges of the presidency. And so this was one that I was very interested in. So I got a very pretty, almost new copy of this book, which makes me happy. Well, there's some photos of her growing up and of their wedding, I think. And yeah, just some everyday kinds of things that happened to them while they were in the White House. This would also give me an opportunity to reread it. Then I got to go to the one where they had some little books for little Maddox. I got this one. I don't know. I think this one came later, but it was really cute and it had a lot of little pop-up things. And then this one was really special. It's really special to me because the character, his mom takes him to a lab life pet rescue, which, we foster dogs and we send them to labs for rescue, and Motley Mutts and some other companies like that, or nonprofits like that, take dogs into states that don't have an overpopulation of them like we do. So this was like the perfect book for us to read to our littles. I'll probably give this one to Maddox once I do the little surgery on this top area, but then this one we'll probably keep here at home all the time. I did not pick up the Emily Henry, and you notice I looked at it for a while, and here's why. I thought it was my favorite one by her, but it was not. They're all okay for me, but my favorite one I think was called Book Lovers. But in the moment, for some reason, I thought it was People We Meet on Vacation. And so I almost grabbed it, and I was like, no, I don't really, I'm trying to just collect books that I want to keep for a significant period of time, or books that I can read and unhaul right away. And so it was not my destiny, but it was a copy that was in really good shape. Then I found The 12 Dares of Krista by Marissa Burt. Give the Gift of the Unexpected. So this is an ARC copy, an uncorrected copy that somebody popped in. I do not know when this was released. It looks like it's been well loved. This says it's copyright set 2017 by HarperCollins. Krista loves holidays. So Krista arrives home for the holidays and not seeing their normal preparation. She's a little bit distressed, I think, by what her mom is not planning for Christmas. And then she discovers that her mom is planning a trip to Europe for the two of them, which is a bit of a disruption. She's not sure how she feels about that, not being at home with her dad. But then when she gets to Europe, apparently her dad has created a scavenger hunt for her. And so it begins, and it covers 3 countries. And so she begins in Italy and then ends up going to other places. And it says it introduces her to people who will show her that hope is alive in the strangest of places. It sounds fun, and I thought it would be cute. So we'll read it. Maybe both of us will read it, and then we'll pass it along probably to somebody else. So then we met an older dog and his mommy, and he's in Newfoundland. Obviously, he's almost as tall as Megan. He was so adorable. He actually, when he went up to meet her, because he was off leash, which is a little dangerous, but obviously very well trained. But he was standing there getting pets, and he was standing on her foot. And she said, Mom, he was really heavy. They are just gigantic dogs, but he was so pretty, so beautiful. And we were so glad that we got to meet him. One of the cutest libraries that we went to, and there were a couple that stand out, but this next one that we visited was just so colorful and pretty. We did get this gorgeous bookmark read in color, and it had this same logo on the side. We think that they got some of this stuff from Little Free Library Direct, which made that nice. Megan got the one about Meg Jemison in space. And honestly, I am so happy that she found that, because for two reasons. It's a great copy to bring to her classroom for kids, especially little girls, to read about the first Black woman astronaut in space. But also, I had no idea who Meg Jemison was. I know, I feel terrible. So it was a great moment for educating me, as well as for bringing this forward to her little kiddos. So that made my day. Okay, the next one was like a little Alice in Wonderland kind of thing going on, which we loved. Oh, the work that went into that one. It was incredible. And it had a lot of children's books in the bottom, as you can see. And that's actually where I got the Tonka Truck pop-up challenge activity book for Maddox. But also, we had the worst time getting the adult section open. You can see we just fussed and fussed and fussed with it. And we weren't obviously the only ones, because that little knob came out really easily. But it was really a challenge for us to get in it. And for a while, I thought we were just going to have to give up, because we couldn't figure out how to open that top door. But if I had that kind of talent and that kind of ambition, that would be what my little free library would look like for sure. You know, I got excited when this one came up at Octavia. I looked at a couple of things at Octavia, I really did, but this one's been probably my most anticipated new release of July, and they had it. I love this book premise about the kids who drink blood. Yeah. They're craving it, and then there's a murder that happens, and the kids are suspects and the moms are suspects. And I talked about this in my July anticipated release video. Can't stop thinking about it. Ended up buying it that day from Octavia. All the people in Octavia were talking about Fourth Wing. I'm telling you, this book is something crazy. This is a whole nother video for this hype around Fourth Wing, but it was nuts how many people were talking about that book. Can't get it still in the US. I had some footage that did not make it. I somehow got my camera pointed at something that was ridiculous. Maybe it was my shirt, I don't know. But anyway, I did in one of the little free libraries pick up this book, NOS 482, I guess is what you call it, by Joe Hill. I can't imagine that it can be called anything else. Christmas Land is Waiting for You. This is a creepy Christmas thriller. Joe Hill, if you didn't know, is Stephen King's son. And I looked up a photo of him because at one point I knew he was somebody's son, but I couldn't remember if it was Stephen King or somebody else. And then I saw the photo of him on Wikipedia, and it's like uncanny how much he looks like his dad. It's crazy, kind of creepy crazy. But anyway, this follows a woman named Victoria, or Vic McQueen, and she has a knack for finding things, it says. And so she ends up has this kind of unusual ability to just kind of discover things randomly, or to be led to things, I guess. And then there's this Charles Manx, who has a gift of his own. He takes children for rides in his 38 Rolls Royce, and then I guess somehow brings them to a place called Christmas Land. And I don't know what happens to the children, but they end up terrifying, and they end up doing some, I guess, bad things to people. And so Vic discovers this, and I'm thinking that she intervened somehow. Maybe he then, I don't know, maybe there's some revenge that happens. It sounded creepy, creepy, creepy. Couldn't put it back. Once I touched it, it was like, yeah, I need to see this through. So there was that. And then the last one I picked up was Shipping News, The Shipping News by E. Annie Proulx. E. Annie Proulx won the Pulitzer Prize as well as the National Book Award for this. It was very popular when it came out. I never did buy it and I never did read it, but a lot of friends of mine did, and they really loved it. So Coyle is a man whose wife has an affair and leaves him. So he takes his children and moves out to his old hometown in the Newfoundland coast. There was a Newfoundland kind of theme going on here, right, with the dog and now the book. And the neighbors, I guess, and the people that he meets on this journey tried to help him to kind of rediscover himself and find peace with what's happened in his life. It sounded good. If I get to it, I get to it. If I don't, I don't. But I do think it's kind of an iconic piece of literature. So we'll see. This came out a long time ago. So thanks so much for watching this romp into the city and into the little free library collections that we could find. There are so many. We could have done this all day if it hadn't been for the extreme heat and just the need to take a break from all of the book collecting. But I was surprised that I didn't get more than this. I really was. I thought I was going to come home with a giant stack and not be able to do a haul video at one time of all of it, but I did not. So we'll see what happens next time. I do plan to do one here locally with my older daughter and maybe with my grandkids. We'll see what happens, but I do love to do these and I'd like to make this a yearly project for sure, a yearly goal. So thanks again for watching. Let me know your relationship to little free libraries if you own one. Thanks for being patient with my not so professional blog. I don't do those very often, so when I do them, they are a bit challenging to me. So I thank you all for being so patient, so kind, and so supportive of me and my channel. And as always, happy reading. Bye.